Okay, are you guys ready? Ready. Okay, hello everyone. My name is Frederick, and I'm from Serious Entertainment. But as you know, I'm not alone. With me today, I have Nicholas, Matthias, Jacob, and Jacob. And up here, you can see a weird word called Poligration, which is a combination of politics and immigration. Okay. So, who are we and what are we doing? Our company, Serious Entertainment, is developing a game focusing on the political aspect of immigration by making the player take decisions on ethical and moral issues regarding immigration. But, go back again. And I want to cover quickly what we're doing. I am the audio guy, and Jacob is the programmer. Jacob is artist. Matthias is programmer and team leader. And Nicholas is also an artist. So, why not just take a look at our game?
So, the White House. Probably the most important place in politics. Let's start the game. We're in the Oval Office, and we're met with a statement or event. This one concerning a large group of Mexicans migrating into the US and granting them citizenship. So we as a player have to agree or disagree to this statement and the others following. So if we agree to this one, we'll see that our Democrat bar goes up, showing that our agreeing to the previous statement was a Democrat choice. This next statement is about building a fence between the US and Mexico. So if we agree to this one, we'll see that our Republican bar goes up. This last one is about helping the undocumented immigrants that are already in the US. So if we disagree to this one, we'll come to our end screen, showing us that we are mostly slightly more Republican in the choices we've made.
Okay. Our key features in the game. Our goal with the game is to educate the players about immigration, which is the problem we want to solve. And we are focusing on the ethical and moral aspects of immigration by taking it on a political point of view, so our players can understand immigration better from that point of view.
Yup, and with that in mind, I will cover some of the story in our game. The story in our game is a timeline of political statements regarding immigration, where as a character you need to consider what you think is right to do by either agreeing or disagreeing with the statement. The conflict in this game that the player will face is the ethical and moral aspects of the statement. And whereas, and this will make the player see the issue from the immigration, the issue from the immigrant's perspective, is that we want to show.
From a game design point of view, we kept it simple. Just a simple point and click. Now, it's not the normal adventurer's point and click you would see. It's boiled down to just having our 2 points, or two buttons, so the player can focus on the statement or event and then take time to evaluate if they agree or disagree with this statement. This helps us also keep a pretty serious, but not, too enforcing tone in our game.
As our name suggests, Serious Entertainment, we want to make a serious game, but we don't want to make it too serious, otherwise we'll bore our audience to death, and we don't want that. So, as the art designer, I chose to make a theme that is sort of in between those two.
Okay, and on the code aspect of the game, we used the engine called Construct 2, and it's a very simple engine which is written in C++ and JavaScript, and it's for artists and and sound producers mostly. Our game is designed for PC, but could easily be used on other devices like a tablet. And if we wanted to continue development on our game, we would have to use a better engine, which would have something like sorry, I forgot the name. But we would have to create databases with all our questions and stuff like that.
Okay. And for the audio, as you saw, our game is not an action-packed game. Therefore, I had to find some cool and quiet background music that does not make much noise. And by noise, I of course mean that it does not have to catch the player's attention. It would be quite stressful for the player to think, read and answer the question if there was very noisy background music.
And the market segment we're trying to reach out to is students in the age between 16 and 22. And that is also around the age of voting for an election. Whereas our game will not only teach about immigration, it will also show the person's political point of view.
Okay, so what we have experienced. For myself, I've experienced that working in groups can actually be very hard. Everyone has to make decisions, and that can be quite stressful if you're not talking.
Yeah, and I experienced that the communication is very essential for the group, but it's also very hard to maintain.
And I experienced as a programmer that it can be a bit hard to work with an engine like Construct 2 because it's not that complex and you are being limited of what you can do.
And as a team leader, I have experienced that planning it all out in the beginning helps the team a lot in the end.
As the art designer, I experienced that you need to keep track of your layers and canvas sizes.
Okay, do you have any questions for us?
I have a question. So, did you come up with any consequences? So, as I go through this, I learn something, probably what I already knew, what were my leanings, politically speaking, but what are the consequences of my choices?
We were sort of aiming for the people that didn't know where they were leaning on the immigration topic. So, yeah, I don't know.
I don't know how to answer that.
So we really don't have any consequences for our game. It's just more to show which political party you are most into.
In the presentation, you kept mentioning that you wanted to explore the ethical and moral aspects of immigration, and I think that's not really what you actually covered. Like, kind of what you just explained is, it sounds more like the goal of the game was to kind of figure out what your political leanings were, and it would have been really interesting to see you actually delve into the actual, consequences and see if you chose, this answer or this answer, like, what does that mean, and how does that actually impact the immigrants themselves?
Thank you for your suggestion.
Actually, we tried to make some of that after each statement. There were afterwards, if you have agreed or disagreed, there will be a news media. For example, if you are agreeing, then it will pop up with some news about the immigrants that something happened or something like that. But we didn't have time to put that in now, but that's probably something we have in mind.
Yeah, I would also, if you're thinking about putting in consequences, putting in facts, a lot of the problem with kind of the internet is the disinformation and misinformation. So misinformation is just someone got it wrong. Disinformation is purposefully obscuring the truth. And that happens a lot, especially in politics, especially in American politics. So I think it would be very interesting if you'd put facts, like, oh, you made this choice, here's the facts associated with this choice, not picking a political party, but the facts associated with it, since you are trying to help somebody learn.
your own. So actually, adding on to Kat's statement about how you were saying that your topic was really focused on immigration and exploring the moral and ethical issues of it, and then also you were talking about different key points in the history of immigration, exploring those as well. So would it be better to phrase the topic each political party's viewpoints on immigration, like learning about how those political parties view different aspects of immigration reform or policy or all that sort of stuff? Okay, I think that's the main question I had.
I like the simple one. So, all that said, like, what would you do with the game if you had more time to work on it?
We would definitely implement the part about news media popping up, and we would have a lot more questions. And we also had this idea of the player evolving as a politician. So you would start off as at the very bottom of politics, and then you would keep on working yourself up and becoming a huge influence on immigration.
So, you guys obviously have done a lot of research on America. You can see the issue with Mexico and immigration and refugees that are happening all over the world, pretty much all the time. But right now they're in the spotlight. How did you guys pick those particular questions?
Actually, just took one from the very first we could find, and then from the middle, and then one from now, just to have some kind of image from this timeline. Yeah. Would you add to that, or?
So they're actually from a real event in the past.
You guys researched like immigration that was happening in America and the different things that are happening politically, or where did you guys actually come up with those questions? I understand what you said, but like what kind of research did you guys put behind that?
Well, would you?
Okay. So we went in and looked at the historical, the history of immigration in America, and we and then we took the Mexican Revolution, which happened. I can't really remember the year, but it happened a lot years ago, and then we wanted to find out if some kind of law or similar had been made at this point, and we found that law that was put up. But we don't have any more time now, so we can't answer any more questions. But thank you for all your questions.